Hello, I'm Ben Buddy Slack, and I'm the founder of the Swan Song Project. The Swan Song Project is a charity that helps people facing the end of their lives to write and record their own original songs. I've been doing a series of interviews with songwriters where I ask them a little bit about their music for a songwriting tip that might be useful to new songwriters, and to tell us a little bit about a song that means something to them relating to bereavement in some way. This episode features Nikolas Rafferty, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, today I'm here with Nikolas Rafferty. Hi Nick, thanks for joining me.
Hi, Ben.
So Nick's from plays a band called the Seahorse, also plays in Tsar Nicholas III and the Exiles, the Miles Hillbillies, and the Heavy Machines. You're a busy man amongst the different projects, Nick.
Try to be.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for joining us today. So if you've seen these interviews before, we're doing 3 sections. First, my guest is going to play one of their songs. Then we're going to have a bit of a chat about how they wrote that. Section 2, Nick's going to share with us a songwriting tip that might be useful to new songwriters, aspiring songwriters. And then section 3, we're going to talk about a song that means something to him, relating to bereavement in some way. So I'll pass you over, and you can take away your song whenever you're ready. If you want to introduce it, and away you go.
This is called Mercy Man. A.m. on the train. It's cold, still and late. Bodies and bags all asleep in the aisles again. I'm waiting to arrive. I got tired eyes, you on my mind. Oh, how you brought down my mercy man. Oh, how they brought down my mercy man. Let's build those monuments high in the sky, while these eyes are dry. So depressed since you left, and there's mist on the mountain, and I'm coming into land. Oh, how you brought down my mercy man. Oh, how they brought down my mercy man. Ocean rolls, Half Moon Bay, and next diner it's still the same. Right, your sister's all pure light, and I'm waiting for nothing now. I got tired eyes, you on my mind. Oh, how you brought down my mercy man. Oh, how you brought down my mercy man. Oh, how they brought down my mercy man. How they brought down my mercy man.
Great stuff, Nick. Thank you.
Cheers, Ben.
That's Mercy Man. So what can you tell us about writing that one?
So that's a journey to my friend's funeral in San Francisco after he'd killed himself. And so the process for that one, Mercy Man he was always the one I could rely on to talk to. And, you know, he'd show a little love and, you know, grow up, get over yourself and that kind of thing, my Mercy Man. And so the song, the process of writing the song that one was the whole journey, you know. So it was like to get on the train to go from Leeds to the airport was 2:20 a.m. cheap flight, night flight, you know. So I got the early train, and so it's a train, and it's the wait and the him on my mind, and then so that's the first verse. And so it's just documenting the travel. So it's sort of like a road movie in a song. And the second verse is sort of like you're trying to sort of get your head around what's going on and why. And then you've got so it's kind of fantastical and it's all in your head. It's not a document anymore. And then the final verse is sort of just saying, you know, I'm here. I'm at Half Moon Bay it's like a crescent bay in Pacifica, just outside San Francisco. So I was there with a friend. So it's just sort of saying, this is the same. And we went to a diner where we used to go, and this is the same. And, you know, and then his sisters were there, you know, and he's like, yeah, you're right. They are just lovely. And so it's, yeah. So it's just that. And then you see, so then you get to keep it, don't you? And it's like, if ever you need reminding of such an event, you can't really go taking photographs at a funeral as a reminder of, oh, this is what we did that day. You know, it's not the done thing, but the song will always tell you exactly what was going on in your mind at the time while you were in that process. Yeah, so that's sort of it, really.
Yeah, it's a really good way of doing it, of and structuring it around the journey and everything. When did you write that? Like, how soon afterwards was it you wrote it? And like, was it quite difficult writing it based, you know, obviously with what was going on around that you were writing it about?
Or? It pretty much came out as a blur, as it pretty much came out fully formed. It was, you know, you slightly tweaked it here and there. So it kind of all ready, fully developed when I did it. The hard thing with that one was performing it.
Yeah, I bet.
It was like, then I had to sort of learn how to sing it and play it without blubbing, you know.
Yeah.
And that took a while.
Yeah.
So every time I played it, it was like, oh, too much, you know. And so if it were too much for me, you know, it's obviously going to be too much for anyone listening to it. You know? And so, yeah, so that was the process of that one. Wasn't so much the writing, it was like then coming to grips with it, you know, how to contain myself while I was sort of telling that story, you know, instead of just being, you know, emotional.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's an interesting thing to do, isn't it? It's very challenging with some songs.
Yeah, because it is a grief thing. It is heavily laden with grief. But then a lot of my songs are.
Yeah. Get used to perfecting that performing with the. It's a funny thing as well. It's like you're not taking the emotion out of it. That's not what you're trying to do, is it? But you're trying to channel the emotion in a way where you can perform the song and maintain yourself. And it's a tricky balance.
It is, yeah. You're trying to perform it with emotion, but then not be emotional.
Yeah, not let the emotion take over in a way.
Yeah, so it's like you're not going to be, like the Cramps, when the Cramps do Lonesome Town. Have you heard that, where it's like Lonesome Town at the end? Poison Ivy's going Lonesome Town. Looks interior, he's going. He's crying, his own sadness within the song, and that's you can't, he's taking the mickey, obviously, but. You've got to sort of hold that back a little bit, haven't you?
Yeah. This is might be a tricky question, but And yeah, if you don't have an answer for it, that's fine as well. I don't know if I'd have an answer for it, but like, do you have any tips or things that like you try and do to do that? Like, say you've got quite a lot of songs that are quite laden with grief and things like that. Is there a particular thing you find when you're doing them that helps you get through it? In my experience, like, I don't know if I'd have an answer for that if someone asked me that. And what I find is sometimes a song will creep up on me, and it might be a song that I didn't think had that much emotion to it, but they'll just be like, oh, like a certain line one time will just crack me. I'll tell you, at the minute, I've been playing Bees Wing quite a bit, you know, the Richard Thompson song. And the last verse of that, there's something about, the last chorus, in fact, I miss her more than ever words could say. That line, sometimes that line just gets me. And I don't know why, but sometimes I'm singing that song, that line just gets me.
I haven't got any tips on that. It's hard, isn't it? Because it's like you've got to sort of be the storyteller and not the story.
Yeah, that's a good way.
That's where you're trying to be, aren't you? You're trying to be. It's an emotional story that you've written, and you're trying to deliver that as a storyteller, not actually as it is. It's mine. You know what I mean? You're supposed to be. You're sort of trying to. Yeah. So just to. No, I don't know. You just try and think of. You sing it. Yeah, I don't really know. That's it, really. It's that be the storyteller, don't be the story.
Yeah, that's a good bit of advice for it. Yeah, that's great, Nick. Thanks. Let's move into section 2, shall we? So this is where I ask my guests for a songwriting tip that might be useful for people getting into songwriting. So have you got a tip that you'd like to share with us?
Well, the favourite tip I got when I was first doing songs and performing them in front of people and working with musicians, I got told straight away, it's like no one cares how many chords you can play, because it was like I was trying to overly complicate all my songs. It's like, it don't matter how many chords you can play. No one's coming to see how many chords you can play. They're coming to hear a song. And so that was instantly, I was just like, oh yeah, I don't have to be smart ass about it. I can just, if it only takes 3 chords, then so be it. 3 chords it is. And then it's why 3 chords? That's too many, because like Kieran O'Malley, who you obviously know, and the famous saying, which is 3 chords and the truth.
Yeah.
Kieran O'Malley came up with the quote for me. He says, well, it's Nick, it's 2 chords and a lie. And I thought that was brilliant. Yeah. And I laughed, because a lot of my stories are fantastical tales. They're not, that one we've just done is particularly documentary and autobiographical in a way, but a lot of them that I write aren't. A lot of them are kind of yarns that I kind of put myself in as a character.
Yeah.
And they're not true. Nothing in it's true. So when me and Kieran were discussing it, you were like, yeah, that's another lie and 2 chords. I was like, that's it. A lie and 2 chords. 3 chords and the truth. No, 2 chords and a lie. I
might try that for a little songwriting challenge myself, right? A 2 chords and a lie song.
Yeah, it's a great way to do it.
Yeah. So not overcomplicating things, is that the general tip there?
Don't get out of the way.
Yeah.
Out of the way, don't force it, you're only supposed to be there to help it cross the road. You're not supposed to be like throwing it in the road, are you? You're just you're meant to be walking it across the road calmly, as opposed to like, we've got to go do this, we've got to do that, we've got to, you just hold it. So get out of the way, hold its hand and walk across the road.
Do you mean like just for like the idea of the song kind of like just you kind of guiding it across the road rather than?
Yeah. And instead of showing it in a direction, Although that's pretty difficult to do sometimes. But yeah, you sort of get yourself out of the way. It's not about you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not about you. It's you're not even relevant, really, in a lot of ways. Once the song's done, it's got its own job to do. You're just there to sort of, hold its hand and walk it across the road. You're not there to force it to, run up the street or anything. Once it's done, isn't it? But then, and keep it simple and get out of the way. And don't be clever about it.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, it's good advice. It's something that like I've definitely kind of grappled with in the past of trying to going, trying to be a smart ass songwriter, and then realizing that that's not good, and then trying to pull it back.
Yeah.
I remember an interview with Leonard Cohen where he talked about that, of assessing some of his lyrics and deciding some of them were too intelligent. That it was trying to be intellectual and showing off, or rather than just, like you say, just communicating something in a way that's effective.
Yeah. Lyrics as well. I mean, lyrics, sometimes I write them and they'll mean one thing. In my mind, it'll mean, say, for instance, it'll mean an apple, and then when I sing it to Joel and the boys and they'll play it, and then they'll say, oh, it means this, doesn't it? And it'll be an orange. And I'll be like, how did you get that from that? And it's like, it's not what I meant at all. But then I look at it and go, well, who am I to say,
Yeah,
who am I to, maybe it is, and maybe I've got wrong end of stick. So I try not to get in the way too much of that as well. If I like the way it sounds and the sentiment beneath it that follows something, I try not to get too in the way with that either.
Yeah, that's great, isn't it? And thanks. And I really like the apples and oranges way of describing it.
Yeah, you start off trying to write about an apple and it ends up being a song about an orange. But
yeah, that's great. Thanks, man. So let's move into section 3 now. Shows this is where I ask my guests to choose a song that means something to them, relating to bereavement in a way. And what I do here is I put the link to the song in the description. So if you're watching this video, I'll ask Nick to introduce the song in a moment, and then you can follow the link and listen to it and come back and we'll have a chat about it. So which song did you choose for us?
Bonnie Prince Billy, Agnes, Queen of Sorrow.
Great stuff. Yes, if you're watching this, you want to go listen to that, come back. Why did you choose that song? That's what we were talking about before we started the interview, that I've not come across Bonnie Prince Billy before, but I was listening to this today and a few of his other songs, and it's great stuff.
So yes, it was about grief, and that particular song, it's just a repeat essentially. It's just one day at a time. Just take it one day at a time, and if you wait a day, I'll wait a day, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. And so it's just a repeat. You've got to repeat, because when you're wounded, you're grief, and you've got it. Just one day is just to get through that one day is enough. You're a champion if you can get through that day, and tomorrow is a whole new ball game. So it's just the repeat process of that. It's like, if you wait a day, I'll wait a day. If you can get through tomorrow and today, I can get through today, and we'll be all right. And there's a secret line in that song that I love. It's so it's he's grieving, and then there's a line where he says, and I got a letter that did say that the kid had passed away, and everything else that it didn't say. And I just think, whoa, what's in that letter? It's like that letter's got so much in it. And yet, if you wait another day, I'll wait a day. So what is it? The kid's passed away. I got a letter that said the kid's passed away and everything else that it didn't say. So it's all the stuff that's not in the letter that's important. So, it's just, that's a mystery there. And that's the key to the song for me. That's the riddle right there. It's like, the letter's obviously telling him that someone's passed away, but it's not that's important. It's what it doesn't say in the letter that's important. And that's the mystery there. That's the why, everything's so, mysterious. I think it's a mystery song. Yeah.
And it's a great example of what we were just talking about keeping things simple, wasn't it? And like I say, it's just this one core message, and repeating it, and again, how accurate and how important that is for so many people who are dealing with difficult things. It's just taking it one day at a time, and having that support as well. It's because there's two voices, and there's another vocalist on it as well, and who sings it back at him in a part of it. Just supporting each other to get through it one day at a time. And if you do one day,
it's kind of set up as a love story. It's kind of set up as though with the male and the female voice, it's like he's saying, if you wait a day, I'll wait a day, and set up like a love song, but it's not. It's not a love song at all.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece, and I'm looking forward to listening to more of Bonnie Prince Billy.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, great stuff. Yeah, well, thanks a lot for joining us. I'll tag your different pages in the description, so if anyone watching this wants to follow some of your work, they can do, and follow your various different projects. thanks a lot for tuning in, everyone. Back with another episode soon, and look forward to seeing you down the line. Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, Ben.